Hello, now I'm going to show you how to make graph 2 for pressure versus volume graph worksheet. It says add 8, this is step 8 on the worksheet. It says add a new column of data called 1/volume. So I'm going to click right here in C1, this is cell C, row 1, and I'm going to type 1/volume. And I would read this out loud as 1/volume. So that's my label. It says have Excel calculate the values that are the inverse of your volume data. So what that means is I want all of these cells to be equal to 1 divided by all of the things in column 2. And the neat thing about Excel is it will calculate this for you. You don't have to punch it in your calculator. The way you do it, first, the way you tell Excel I want you to be a calculator is first you type the equal sign, equals. And I want it to be 1 divided by whatever is to the left of my cell. So I'm going to type 1/ for divided by, and then I'm just going to click right there what I want it to be. So it's B2, and then I'm going to hit enter. So there it calculated it for me. And instead of typing that in every single cell, what we can do is have it copy for us. So I'm going to click back up in the cell that I typed in and see the teeny square in the bottom right. I'm going to click that and drag it down. And you might be thinking, well, doesn't that just always divide by 29? But it doesn't, because you clicked it. Instead of typing in 29, since you clicked B2 up here, it actually changes it to whatever is to the left. So it's always the cell to the left. It does 1/. So this one, it does 1/23, and this one is 1/19. And Excel just does that for you, which is really great. Okay. Anyway, next step. Make a graph of pressure versus 1/volume. So we only want the graph to be of column A and column C. And the way you can highlight 2 separate columns at a time is you click that A to get A highlighted, and then hold down Command and click C. And now you have A and C highlighted but not B, so it's a good trick. So now if we want to make the graph, we have A and C highlighted. We'll just insert a graph like we did before. So I clicked Insert. Now I'm going to go to the graph, Scatter. There it is. I'm going to move it a little so it's not on top of my other graph. Okay. Give the graph a title and label the axes. So 1/volume, that's not the best title. Let's call it pressure versus 1/volume. You can put your name as well. All right. Label the axes. Again, we know how to do this. Add chart element, axes titles. Horizontal is still going to be pressure. And torr is the unit of pressure. We'll learn more about that later. And then we want to add our y-axis label. And now this is 1/volume. All right. And that the units, I guess, technically are 1/ml, but let's just leave it blank. Change the range values on the axis so the graph fills the chart. So this is where we control click and format axis. Now last time I told you what to set the values to, but now let's just decide. So we don't really have any points on the x-axis until here, so I think setting the first value at 600 is probably a good idea instead of 0. Right? And then for the y-axis, I'm going to control click, format axis. Actually, I didn't need a control click because it was already up here. I just needed to click on the numbers. Now it looks like my first one on the y-axis is right here, so it looks like nothing is less than 0.03. So I'm going to change the minimum to be 0.03, and that'll scoop them all down. Okay. Next, we want to add a linear trend line and the equation. So add chart element, trend line, linear, add chart element, trend line, more trend line options, display equation on chart. There we have it. And then if we want to save, this time since we have more than one graph, instead of putting it on a separate sheet, let's just keep it all here. Say File, Save As. We want to save it as a PDF. We can call it Pressure versus Volume Graphs. You can save it wherever you want. There you go.